Hey guys, I'm back and we are playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. I said I'll try to push through the Master of Masteries. This is me trying to push through the Master of Masteries this year. I have thought about not doing this beyond, but I want to complete what I've started this year. So we're going to be doing one of the base weapons. It's an LMG. It's the Bruen MK9. Obviously completed it a while ago when I did the mastery grind and completed that because I completed all the base weapons first. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and check it out, see what needed to be done, and then play with the weapon with the various camos that you can unlock from it. Bruen MK9 Master of Masteries is the plane. And yeah, I don't remember the weapon much at all. There's only one LMG that I've been using whenever I use the LMG. It's the Holger. So the other ones I don't really utilize all that much, so I don't remember them. So let's go ahead and see what needed to be done, and then we'll go from there. So for the Camo Challenges, you've got the 4 base camos that are universal camos that you can unlock for all your other weaponry by leveling up this gun. The first one being Dusted, get the gun to level 2, get 50 kills, then you'll unlock this camo. Shuffle, get the gun to level 9, and then get 10 operator penetration kills while using the weapon. Penetration kills are like when you shoot through a surface and eliminate an enemy. There are a lot of chain link fences, like in Scrapyard and all. If you shoot through those tend to count as wall penetration kills. Also on shipment, the containers that are like kind of angled sideways when people go behind the container to reload or whatever, to hide behind the containers. If you shoot through those containers and you eliminate the enemies there, those will also be wall penetration kills. But there are a lot of areas that have thinner walls. If you know the enemy's behind there, or you start shooting someone and they kind of run behind the cover and you keep shooting, those will tend to be wall penetration kills. So that's how you want to go about it. There are also things in the gunsmith, like the ammo types, specific ammo types and all, that will increase your damage while shooting through walls, or the potential damage while shooting through surfaces. So you might want to equip some of those for this particular challenge to just get it out of the way. I do recommend shipment, because you will get wall penetration kills if you're shooting through those side things when you know enemies are behind the crates. The Scrapyard one, the chain link fence, so the nice thing about that is you can see the enemies through the chain link fence. So when you're shooting through that, you know where the enemies are. Just a heads up, when you're shooting through chain link fences and all, it tends to disable your aim assist, so it just becomes a little bit more annoying to shoot through those. But at least you can see the enemy, right? And so you know when you're shooting them. So yeah, those are just some of the easier spots. Also on high rise, the chain link fences up there are also wall penetration options, although those are a little more dangerous areas because the enemies don't really go on that area that much, whereas in Scrapyard, that chain link fence kind of views right into the thing. The chain link fence, what I'm talking about, is in the building, the longer building, on one of the sides. But yeah, my advice is shipment is a pretty straightforward place to knock them out. Drip, get the gun to level 14, and then you need to get eliminations while using full attachments equipped to the weapon. Means put all 5 attachments on the weapon, any 5 attachments you choose that you can equip on the weapon, and then go ahead and utilize that weapon and get eliminations. And 15, I believe, is it? 15 eliminations and you'll have it completed. And then Gaggle, get the gun to level 20 and get 10 operated double kills with the Bruen. So 2 kills in quick succession is a double kill, and you need to do that. Small map playlist, usually will be helpful. Quick engagements and more potential. Oh, those are swans. Oh, Like, I presume a gaggle is a group of swans or something like that. Is that what it is? Like the term for like a group of them? I was wondering what the image was. I was like, what is this gaggle? And then, like, is this supposed to be like some tongue sticking out or something? No, they're like, looks like swan heads or something like that, possibly. Am I right? Or am I wrong? I don't know. I'm presuming. Gilded. Complete the base camo challenges on this weapon and then get 2 operator kills without releasing the trigger 10 times. So yeah, again, small map mosh pit will be useful for this one, and a very large magazine. Start shooting. When you hit an enemy, just don't release the trigger. Just keep firing and try to like get your aim onto another enemy before you run out of ammo. And if you can kill that enemy, then that is 2 kills without releasing the trigger. And that's what you want to do 10 times. Tito. Complete the Gilded challenge on this weapon. Have 4 Gilded camo challenges completed with LMGs. And then you will unlock the Forge challenge, which is get 20 operator suppressed headshot kills with the Bruen. So you want to equip a suppressor muzzle attachment or some form of suppressor. I don't think the gun has a barrel suppressor, so I presume you have to equip a suppressor muzzle. And then just go for the headshots and get 20 of those, and that will count for this challenge. I'm not sure. I don't think the barrel has a like built-in suppressor barrel or anything like that, so you'll probably need to use a suppressor from the muzzle category. Priceless. Complete the Forge camo challenge on this weapon. Have 36 Forge camo challenges completed, and then get 3 kills with 1 magazine 10 times with the Bruen. Now, when I did this challenge, it was bugged out. I'm fairly certain they fixed the bug, so there's no real point in repeating what the bug was. It used to be you could do this over multiple lives and stuff like that. Now you do need to, like, at least with the latest weapons that have the same challenge, you do need to do it in a single life. So 3 kills, don't reload your gun, maybe have a bigger magazine so you can like take on multiple enemies without having to reload or worry about ammunition. And once you get those 3 kills, make sure to reload. That was another bug with the challenge, but I'm not sure if that's been fixed or not. But if you get 3 kills, if you don't reload, it wouldn't count the next following 3 kills. And this actually occurred over multiple lives also. So I presume they fixed the multiple lives. I would still just suggest once you've gotten 3 kills with the 1 magazine, just make sure to reload. And like I said, they have fixed it. So now you do need to do that in a single life. So kills from a previous life do not carry forward on this challenge. You need to do them at least with the latest weapons. So I presume they've fixed it retroactively with the old weapons also. Which kind of sucks because it made it a little bit easier a challenge. Now it's a little bit more difficult. Once you've completed the mastery grind on this weapon, you will, and have 36 priceless camo challenges completed, you will have unlocked Interstellar for it. So yeah, those were the camo challenges for the weapon. This is the build I used for the Bruen while I did the camo grind, or close to it at least. I might have obviously made adjustments for like the suppressor challenge, and then the like 3 kills without dying and the 2 kills without releasing triggers and all. You know, you do want to make adjustments for those kind of challenges. But this is what I used for the bulk of the grind. I had a different optic, but I prefer the slate reflector now. So slate reflector for precision sight picture. Lane 56 stock. Recoil control, gun kick control, hip fire and tack stand spread at the cost of crouch movement speed and aim down sight speed. The Stip 40 grip, recoil control, gun kick control at the cost of aiming idle sway. The Bruen heavy support grip, gun kick control, aiming idle sway, horizontal recoil, firing aim stability at the cost of aim down sight speed and vertical recoil. And 5.56 armor piercing rounds, bullet penetration and vehicle damage, no cons. Now, I don't think this is like a meta build or anything like that. I don't know what the meta build is. It's just what I used when I was going for the grind, and it worked out fine for me. So that's why I stuck with it. But I'm sure there are better like underbarrel stock. I'm sure the entire build is not optimal. there could be changes, I'm sure. This is the stats for the build though. Movement speed's at 3.9 m-s, since my face cam's blocking that. Right, let's go ahead and jump right in and try this out. I'm going to be honest, one of these days I'm just going to take the day off. I was going to take the day off today, man. I was like, man, I should. I think yesterday was like my 4-year anniversary or something like that of streaming daily. Like I've been streaming for 4 years and now I think I'm rolling into my 5th year. I think that's the timeline. I'm not even totally certain anymore. But that was a goal of mine, to hit that milestone, like hit the year anniversary, and then start considering slowing down when I don't, especially when I don't have something to do, like today. But I was like, yeah, I've been kind of keen on completing this Master of Masteries nonsense. Let's give it a go, see if I can knock out one of them. But yeah, might start taking days off, maybe. I say that often, but I end up still trying to stream daily. They're coming.
Enemy UAV active. Friendly UAV online. Friendly care package on the way.
Oi.
Halfway to mission complete. Finish it. Maintain the lead. Friendly goal. Standing by.
Copy. UAV orbiting the AO. Recon is online. UAV is being refueled.
Hostile destroyed a remote turret. Friendly UAV online. Deployed.
Copy that. UAV is on.
UAV ready.
Copy. Counter UAV on station. Running interference. Counter UAV is down. Copy. UAV.
Hey.
Friendly UAV online.
Be advised. UAV is exiting the AO.
They're overwhelmed. Keep it this way. Hostile vehicle in the area. The mission is complete. Good work.
These guys were suspicious, but like they were still losing the gunfights. Like there were certain like sniper pre-aims that were very suspicious, but they were still losing. And I think that's a problem with the like longer time to kill games. If like there is a cheating problem, and there's a lot of like really powerful weapons that can take you down really fast, like snipers and marksman rifles, some of the marksman rifles and all that, right? That have a one shot. If you even try to like use like non-meta weapons, you're so screwed, dude. And then like you compound that with a larger cheating problem, which this game does have. Makes it even worse. Like when you have a really fast time to kill, yeah, cheating is an issue still, right? But even if you're using like an okay weapon, because of the faster time to kill, you can get away with it, right? Sometimes. That's why like this game's like cheating problem, it's been actually kind of like obnoxiously like annoying to deal with. And the same applied to Cold War. Like it was a really bad problem, the cheating problem back then also, right? I would wager like Modern Warfare 2 probably did have a cheating problem. It did have a cheating problem. It's not probably, it did have a cheating problem. But it didn't feel half as bad. One, maybe because it wasn't this bad, and maybe it wasn't that bad. And two, like I said, it becomes significantly worse when there's a longer time to kill. Get off this. What the fuck? Oh, they fixed it. Munition boxes got the cursed ammo. No, I knew they would come from behind, man. No one watching the back there. Someone's watching our back again.
Hostile mosquito is online. Mission time is half over. Maintain the lead.
Copy. UAV is on station. Recon online.
Friendly care package on the way. Hostiles deployed a remote turret.
Moving here. UAV is bingo fuel. RTV at this time.
Friendly remote turret deployed. Enemy UAV active. Hostile care package deployed. Hostiles deployed a mosquito. Hostile counter UAV overhead.
Moving here. Copy. UAV is on station. Recon online. UAV is
One minute remaining. Friendly UAV on station.
What did they just spawn there? I'd like to know that. Oh god. The teammate, ping at least, man. Give me ping.
30 seconds remain. Friendly cluster mine planted.
Ah!
counter UAV.
Seconds remaining.
What's up, Slayo? How you doing?
The mission is complete. Good work.
Yeah, I might back out of this one. We'll see how it goes. Connection's looking rubbish. I think I just looked the wrong way. The fuck is the spawns on this, man? I just killed that dude, man. How's he spawning there? I shouldn't be running around so much, honestly. Dude, these spawns are so fucking jank in this game, dude. This is a ridiculous line of sight if you can. That's where they're coming from.
Copy that. UAV is on station. RTB at this time.
I.
Copy that. UAV is on.
I know someone from behind killed me, but come on, give me a fucking break. Did I really die that many times, dude? I thought I was doing okay. What a weird decision for Camo on this one. Like, they had done, like, they recently added those creature camos, and I was like, oh, yeah, finally they're, well, I didn't say finally, but I was like, oh, they're adding like animal like pictures on the camos. But clearly they did this a while ago too, man. I just didn't notice it. I don't really like this camo though, even after noticing it's not just random lines and colors. I think more so. Oh, dude, again, another 130 ping connection? Are you fucking kidding, dude? Teammate.
Friendly UAV online. Secure the area.
There's a lot of lag in this. Like, geez, a lot.
Hostile mosquito is online.
Dude, fucking hell, man. Where do teammates even look? I wonder sometimes, man.
Hardpoint relocating. Stand by. Enemies deployed a counter UAV. Enemy UAV active. Hardpoint compromised. Secure the area. Hardpoint relocated. Secure the target area. The enemy is gaining ground. Push them back.
That guy should have.
Confirming next hardpoint. Stand by. Friendly UAV online. Inside the enemy UAV active. Enemy contact. Hostile counter UAV overhead. Hardpoint compromised. Secure the area.
There's a lot of lag going on. Like, with the gunfights, the time to kills.
Hardpoint relocated. Stand by. Hardpoint compromised. Secure the area. Hardpoint relocated. Secure the target area. UAV on station.
The fuck, man? Where are the teammates, man, on that?
Enemy spotted. Confirming next target. Stand by. Grenade!
Dude, what a shitty team. I mean, the connection wasn't very helpful either. But still. What? Oh, that was something else. Back-to-back 130 ping connections. And SBMM in this game prioritizes ping is king, apparently, huh? This game's so full of shit with that fucking bullshit they like spew out to like the player base. And you have absolute like morons that eat it up. Like, yeah, that makes sense. Ping is king. I'm sure that's true to a certain extent. No. Ping is king means something very different. It doesn't mean like it is taken into account, but other factors can override that. No, ping is king means that is the number one priority. Ping is the number one factor. Anything else that cannot overwrite the king. That's the fact of the statement. There is nothing below that can override the king. So when you say something is ping is king, that means that always, no matter what, will find you the best connection possible. And then the other factors come into play. That is not true to this game. That is not true. That is quite literally the definition when you make a statement like that. There is no like give or take. Oh, but if you're a really high skill player, you know, that needs to be factored in and that might affect the connection. No, then the thing is not king, is it?
cluster mine detected. Gaining ground. Pushing back. Confirming next hardpoint. Stand by. Target area updated. Move to the hardpoint. Hardpoint compromised.
I'm just gonna take hardpoint off, man. Teammates aren't even going near the hardpoint. This is fucking pathetic.
Enemies inside the perimeter. Hardpoint relocating. Stand by.
I was watching the TV show, the what's it called, Band of Brothers in the Pacific, and it got me thinking. There are some Vanguard maps I wouldn't mind seeing again, dude, other than Das House. And Eagle's Nest, I actually wouldn't mind seeing that again. Also, like that map was kind of fun. It's a cool looking map too. I wouldn't mind seeing Eagle's Nest come back.
Hard point. Control the target area. Hardpoint compromised. Secure the area. Friendly UAV online. Enemy UAV active. Enemies inside the perimeter. Confirming next hardpoint. Stand by. Secure the area. Target area updated. Move to hardpoint.
I should have stayed. I could have kept on blasting these guys.
We've secured the lead. Friendly Mosquito deployed. Hardpoint relocating. Stand by. Hardpoint relocating. Secure the target area.
UAV is bingo fuel. RTB at this time.
I wish like the attack inserts would give you an indication that it's a team flare.
Enemies inside the perimeter. Confirming next hardpoint. Stand by. Friendly UAV online.
Uh-oh, packet burst. I'm getting so much packet burst. What's going on?
Hardpoint compromised. Secure the area.
Hey.
The enemy's taken the lead. Relocate. Secure the target area. Enemies inside the perimeter. We've taken the lead. Hardpoint compromised. Secure the area. Friendly remote turret deployed. We've lost the lead. Next hardpoint. Updated. Move to the hardpoint. UAV on station. Friendly remote turret active. Enemies inside the perimeter. Hardpoint relocating. Sam, we've lost half the field.
Dude, why aren't teammates going for the hard point at all?
Hardpoint relocated. Secure the target area. Secure the hostile UAV in the area.
That was a really weird looking. It must be like a death animation or something.
Hostiles deploy the mosquito. Confirming next hard point. Stand by. Hostile UAV in the area. Hostile cluster mine deployed. Deploy. Standing by. Hostile SAE near your position.
Solid copy. UAV is on station.
Hard point compromised. Secure the area.
Counter UAVs leak of fuel. RTB at this time.
Perimeter. Confirming next hard point. Stand by.
God, fuck! I feel like a slug sometimes with the OMG, dude. Uy, duh.
Friendly UAV on station.
God, I did not take advantage of that. I didn't think they'd spawn right in front of me, man.
Hardpoint relocated. Stand by. Enemy UAV active. Hardpoint relocated. Secure the target area. Hostile UAV
Oi, that was lag. That was lag. I aimed and it just froze and I died. Oh my god, I didn't know where he was.
Hostile UAV in the area. Hardpoint relocating. Stand by. Hostile cluster mine detected. Hardpoint relocated. Secure the
What is going on with the spawns in this game today? It's been really bad.
mission time is half complete. Friendly UAV online. Confirming next hardpoint. Stand by. Hostile UAV in the area. Move to the hardpoint. Friendly UAV online. Ready to deploy.
The reload.
Secure the area. Friendly care package in the area. Enemies inside the perimeter. Enemy UAV. Hardpoint relocated. Stand by. Bomb drone is online.
That went down wrong.
Longbow 3-1 flying outbound. Roger.
We're taking Alpha. Domination. We control Alpha. Enemy securing Bravo. Lost Bravo. We're losing Alpha. We're taking Bravo. Hostiles hold all units. Securing objective Bravo. Securing objective Alpha. We're taking Alpha. We're taking Bravo. UAV in the area. Securing objective Bravo. We control Bravo. Enemies taking Bravo. Bravo. Objective Bravo is compromised. Get it back. Enemies taking Alpha. All objectives are under enemy control. UAV active. Objective Bravo secure.
Dude,
Copy. UAV is on.
why haven't they taken C?
We're taking Charlie. The enemy has captured 2 objectives. Get them secure. Charlie secure. UAV online.
Hey.
UAV is exiting the AO.
We've secured 2 objectives. Enemies taking Bravo. Friendly mosquito deployed.
Moving here.
Enemies securing Bravo.
Moving here.
Enemies taking Bravo. We've lost Bravo. The enemy is gaining ground. Push them back. Securing objective Charlie. We're losing Alpha. Securing objective Bravo. Enemies taking Alpha. Friendly mosquito active. We've lost Alpha. Friendly care package in the AO. We've secured the lead. Enemies securing Bravo. We're taking Alpha.
Oh, dude. This a teammate with a similar outfit as this idiot.
The enemy took Charlie. We control Alpha. Enemies taking Bravo. Enemies securing Bravo. Enemies taking Bravo. Objective Bravo is compromised. Hostile UAV in the area. We're taking Charlie. Objective Charlie secure. We're losing Alpha. We have taken the lead. We're taking Bravo.
How did he shoot through that? That was a lot thicker than it,
Securing objective Bravo.
and it was still shoot through.
UAV on station. We're taking Bravo. Secure the position. Bravo. All objectives are under enemy control. Charlie secure. We're getting hit hard. Mission failed. Return to base.
I played objective hard on that. It started at 100 ping. It didn't even start at 82. This game's matchmaking is such ass shit. Fucking game, dude. Fuck off. I'm done with the game. I'm done for today. I ain't playing anymore. I was thinking of bonus section, but after seeing it start at 107 ping, I was like, fuck it, dude. I'm not playing anymore. I'm over for today. Tired anyway. I want to watch TV. Bruen MK9 LMG played. It's actually decent. The reason I'd pick the Holger over this is the mobility. The mobility on this one's a little lacking, but otherwise it's a pretty decent LMG. It's not so locked down. You can move around, but it is nowhere near as good as the Holger, obviously. And it's, I think, a little punchier than the Holger. I'm not totally certain about damage profile and all, because I'd need to do it side by side or look at the stats and all that nonsense, which I really can't be bothered. But yeah, it's reasonably punchy as an LMG for what you want it. But you still want to use it as an LMG. Hold down lanes and stuff. The minute I started getting a little too fidgety and wanted to move around, it tended to get me into trouble. And yeah, definitely there was a lot of movement penalties utilizing this weapon, which makes sense. I'm just saying the Holger 26 is better as far as that goes. You can actually kind of get away with a little bit of movement with that, as opposed to this one being quite a bit more punishing for even considering movement. I'm sure you can build it for better movement. And like I said, my build is probably not optimal, but it was actually pretty decent. I found that little lever thing that sticks out. I found that a little distracting. I didn't really like that. I mean, that's just the weapon model, I guess. Not much you can do about that. But yeah, that I found a little distracting because it does block up your view a little bit more than you'd like it to, when you're holding down lines. I think it's generally a decent LMG. Generally, even the 130 ping games, if I had anything other than this gun, I'd probably have gotten destroyed. Having the large magazine, and it has a decent rate of fire, and it puts out a decent amount of damage and all, allowed me to get away with even the laggy games, where it's still a struggle, but I was getting away with it, Whereas, some games, some of the guns, they're so unforgiving, and the minute you get into a laggy connection, it becomes impossible to use. Whereas this one, at least you can get away with the multitude of doo-doo connections that this game throws at me. This is all right. It's all right. We do have two more LMGs. One is the new LMG that I've already finished the camo grind on that, but I didn't really like it. So, part of me, so I don't know. Most of you, those that I've been watching of late, have known that I'm not super keen on covering a lot of the stuff in this game. Blueprints, bundles, and even these master masteries I see little value to as far as streaming and checking out the stuff. And part of me is just do the guns that you enjoy, right? That are like that are just good that you like, and maybe if there's like a buff to a gun or something, then do the masteries for those, because I've already completed everything except the new SMGs. There's 2 new SMGs, I think last season and this season or something like that. Those 2 I haven't yet finished. But we'll see. This one wasn't a favorite LMG of mine. I wanted to get this one done, so the next one will be the Holger, which is my favorite LMG. So that one will be a little bit more entertaining to utilize. We'll see. At least it gives me something to do. I keep saying that. At least it gives me something to do. Like today, I was genuinely just going to take the day off because I just didn't want to didn't have anything to do. And the masteries, even that was I was questioning. I was like, dude, do I want to even do this anymore? Yeah. 2 things that have been on my mind of late, like nothing to do with this gun. But I mentioned one of them. One of them was I've been thinking of Das House coming to the game, and I'm like, yeah. Quite a while ago, I suggested when they were putting the small maps, I was like, I wouldn't mind seeing Das House come to the game. So I was definitely glad to hear that they are bringing Das House back, kind of a reimagining of it, but same layout or whatever. Looking forward to seeing how that plays and all. I mean, it's a small map. I personally don't care for small maps that much. It's not like I want to sit on Shipment or anything all day long. But I mean, Das House is fun enough that once in a while getting it, I'm down for that, and I did want to see it in this game. The other thing that I wanted to see, there are 2 maps in particular that I mentioned from Vanguard that I wouldn't mind seeing. One was one of the last maps that came during the Vanguard life called Fortress. I don't think they'll bring that map because I don't know, no one even remembers that map. Fortress from Vanguard, not Modern Warfare 2. And the other one that of late I was thinking of, because like I said, I was watching Band of Brothers, the TV show, and it's not really spoilers or anything, but one of the episodes near the end, some of the people kind of take over Eagle's Nest, that area or whatever, and there's an episode dedicated to them just kind of looting the area and kind of holding it down post near the end of the show. Not really spoilers. It's a historical thing. There's obviously going to be I don't know. It's sort of spoilers, I guess. It's an old show. And it's historical. So I mean, it obviously happened in reality also, something like that, right? But yeah, that got me thinking of Eagle's Nest and Vanguard. I was like, dude, I actually wouldn't mind seeing that be reimagined or brought back. There's actually I haven't gone through serious thought of all the Vanguard maps, but there's actually probably a few of those maps I wouldn't mind seeing beyond Das House, But yeah, Eagle's Nest, because I was watching Band of Brothers, I was like, oh yeah, that'd be actually a pretty cool map to bring back also. I wouldn't mind playing it. Again, not fixated on playing it all day long, like some people are with Shipment. But it's something I wouldn't mind seeing in the game, seeing it in the rotation and stuff like that. So I don't know. I was just thinking of that, some of the Vanguard maps potentially be nice. Wouldn't be a bad thing to see them come back like Das House is. The other thing I was thinking about, and I was kind of bitching out bundles the other stream as how shit and worthless they were, which is true. It is shit and worthless. I just don't see any value to that nonsense. And this was one of the bundles I was not showcasing, but I was talking about how I really like this, but one, because it's tied to the blueprint. When I was talking about it, I was specifically talking about the tracer rounds. I was like, oh, I really like this kind of tracer effect, right? But I wish I could just buy the bundle and then utilize the tracers on the weapons I like to use, not tied to this gun, right? Even though this gun looks cool and all as a blueprint, it's a nice blueprint, but I would rather have the tracers as a separate entity that I can tie to other weaponry similar to like way charms work and stuff like that, right? Where you can just kind of apply them to any weapon. Same, I'd like that with the traces. And I was thinking about it, and one thing I missed talking about, and I've talked about this before, where I'm like, it'd be nice if they sold blueprints and then maybe had a universal camo tied to the blueprint. So you can use the universal camo on all your weapons. But more than that, it'd be interesting if that universal camo could potentially, like if you change attachments around, because you know how like when you change the barrel on this gun, it's going to lose a lot of the blueprint effect, right? But maybe you could put that camo on there and it would look good, right? And something I just didn't think of until afterwards. But man, this would be a really cool camo. That green with the hands kind of popping out, like kind of like thing, that animation. I would love that as a universal camo. Like, so that's kind of like what I was thinking of. I was like, dude, that could have just been the universal camo tied to this bundle. The tracer pack could be separated. And then you get these blueprints also, right? So we're not talking about doing a whole load of extra work here. We're talking about just separating elements of what is already existing on this bundle's blueprint and selling them as individual entities part of the bundle that you could potentially use elsewhere or use to clean up this blueprint if you decide to change attachments around and stuff like that, right? Like this would be such a cool universal camo. I know they've added a few of the bundles, like the CDL bundles in particular, that have universal camos tied to the bundles. And I was tempted to buy one of them. I was like, oh, should I buy it? Because I like the idea of supporting games that I enjoy. And I like the idea of supporting concepts that I'd like to see them move forward with, like selling bundles with universal camos potentially, and blueprints and all the other stuff, but also having something that you could utilize on your everything and not just be locked down to the like blueprints, right? The reason I've decided not to buy the CDL bundles and all is so far the universal camos that they've sold in the bundles in the stores, they're sort of basic. There's no animation to it. There's nothing particularly special about it. It's just kind of like a flat camo that you can put on, and they are nice and stuff like that. But when I talk about like putting a universal camo into a store bundle, you'd want it to be something really, really cool, something special, with an animation, with a reaction, or something like that that is very different from what you otherwise could be getting from leveling up your weapons and stuff like that. Like this blueprint, like I said, like this blueprint, if this camo, when I'm talking about the green, like this emerald green thing, where the like palms keep forming on it and coming back, and there's almost a motion, like it's like a void of souls floating around in there, right? That's whatever the effect is supposed to be, right? That would make such a cool universal camo that would be tempting to purchase. So yeah, it's just something I was thinking about. I was like, dude, I don't think they understand that it's not just a matter of like adding universal camos to the bundles, but adding good universal camos to the bundles is what will attract people. And I didn't mean to do that, but also like separating these tracer rounds where you can potentially utilize it on any weapon. And those are the kind of things that would be more tempting with these bundles. You can still have these really nice looking blueprints that are like kind of like this, right? But then when you add those other elements that are already existing on the blueprint, right? This kind of pattern that you have, this animated pattern that you have, just make it a universal camo, which I don't know development. I don't know coding and stuff like that. I'm not that intelligent that I can say like wholeheartedly, this is easy to do. But the information is there. I feel like it should be doable. Like this isn't a stretch in saying like you could just make that into a universal camo. And in my head, it's like that shouldn't be that much extra work, right? Hey, cutlet. And the same applies to the tracer rounds, just separating them from the blueprints and just giving you the option to like utilize it on your other weaponry. Like I talked about it the other day during the blueprint stream, but I was like just saying, like just in the customization section, you can just have like another tab or two and have the traces and the death animation as separate tabs. So you can customize your weaponry that way. And it wouldn't be that much like, dude, as it is, the UI is garbage, dude. Like so much trash in it. Adding a couple of tabs wouldn't necessarily ruin the UI and give you the option to like add traces. Or if need be, and the traces and death animation needs to be tied together and they can't separate those two as separate things, at least give you the separate tabs so you have that tracer death animation combo tied together, but utilized in any weaponry. Like you can just throw on a charm on any weapon, right? Like you can throw these decals on and the stickers and the gun screens, right? I feel like these are like requests that shouldn't be overlooked. And in my head, who's a layman to like coding, I don't know these things, that shouldn't be overly complex. That shouldn't be overly complex. The other thing that I've been thinking about, and like this is just me thinking, like, because the Walking Dead camo's coming up, and maybe I'll repeat this during the Walking Dead stream, but I'll say it now itself also. So I presume when weapon models are designed, right? I presume the weapon model's designed like this, and then the camos just kind of lay on top of it, right? Like, so you have this kind of like weapon model, and then the camo lays on top of it, and that's how you get it. And then sort of you can maybe make some bubbles and stuff like that to make it look like three-dimensional and all. So that's kind of the limitation of it, right? This is more of a future concept that I've been thinking about. But maybe when developing these weapon models, you create an outer bubble around the weapon model, an invisible outer bubble, okay? So you have the weapon model, and then you have an outer bubble around the weapon model that's just coded into each weapon, right? That way, the outer bubble you can apply camos on it, like universal camos, that can take effect in that bubbled area. Okay, so do you understand what I'm saying? So something like the Walking Dead camo, which hasn't yet released, so I don't know exactly how it looks, but I've seen the leaks, right? It's basically a barbed wire, but it's a flat camo, right? So it's a barbed wire, but it's kind of just an image of a barbed wire. But had they decided to code the weapons with that kind of like bubble around the weapon, right? And that just invisible bubble existed for you to place objects in to create universal camo structures, right? You could potentially create a universal camo with a real like actual barbed wire wrapped around the weapon, right? And because each weapon has that bubbled coding in, you could potentially add universal camos with three-dimensional effects, right? Now, this is, like I said, this concept is kind of like more future tech because you need to kind of be mentally and physically, not mentally, but you need to be prepared for that concept to be implemented prior. Like, obviously now if they kind of go back, it would take a lot of work to go back to all the old weapon models and create a bubble around it and then utilize that bubble for three-dimensional objects as universal like applications, right, on it, like a barbed wire camo, right? But had they like developed the weapon models with that in mind initially, then having those three-dimensional kind of universal applications like barbed wire or other things also, I'm just using barbed wire as an example, right? But what the ideal scenario is, because the weapon model already has a bubble, you should potentially be able to shape within that bubble, and the things will kind of apply as like similar to the way a camo would, but more like a three-dimensional thing, right? Again, I'm a layman when it comes to development, but that's how I would conceptualize weapon models. So that way, when for like the long term of the game, you could potentially eventually design things that have three-dimensional structures around the like weapon and utilize them as universal concepts. So like say it's a barbed wire or a snake that wraps around the thing, right? You could potentially, because every weapon already has that preset bubble, you can design those things to like be implemented within that bubble of each weapon, making it interchangeable as easily as a camo would be at the moment, right? So you have these three-dimensional objects that you can place on your weapon, and because the weapon has that information, like here's a space for three-dimensional objects on all weapons, and then you kind of just scale the like three-dimensional object to fit within the bubble of each weapon, and it should apply like universally, similar to the way camos work. Again, this is just a hypothetical like concept around it. And like I said, in the ideal scenario, you plan ahead with that idea in mind, right? So it's something like you've been designing all your weapons with a bubble around it, with the concept that maybe as the seasons go by, we'll start making cool camos that have three-dimensional objects tied to them that are more kind of unique and not just kind of like generic. Like right now, they're just kind of pushing the limits to the flat surface camo and seeing what they can get away with, right? But if that bubble kind of concept existed around each weapon model, so like it was a kind of, it would need to be some, like, it would need to be intelligently designed. Like when I say bubble, like I'm talking about like a smart kind of like surrounding around the weapon. Like, so when you apply these things into it, it understands the limitations of the weapon, where the hand goes, when the hand's moving, the bubble needs to be kind of like almost, you know, reacting to like the way you handle the weapon, right? So when that 3D model reacts around it, the bubble, it's kind of like meshing around the way you are using that weapon. So if like the hand goes on the handle and all, it knows, like say it's like a snake wrapping around the like weapon and just coils around and then keeps moving around the weapon, right? This could be a universal like snake that you can put on any weapon, but it knows on depending on the hand and placement of the bubble, because of the way the bubble would understand, like, okay, on this weapon, the operator holds it here and all. So the snake understands it can't go there. So it moves elsewhere around the bubble, right? So yeah, that's just kind of what I was thinking about. I was like, again, that's probably not how they've coded in the weapons right now. All right. But if they wanted to in the future, that would be the way of coding a weapon in with foresight for three-dimensional universal objects and camos that you can implement onto weaponry that would not only be like cool like rewards and stuff, but really fucking valuable microtransactions. Because the minute you utilize something that can be applied to anything and everything and not locked down to just the blueprint, right? Like again, I know they do these things with blueprints, right? And that's kind of like our understanding, like, okay, it's done like this because it is a blueprint. So that's why we can't see like cool things like that on regular weapons, right? But you could potentially see cool things like that on regular weaponry if they had that kind of bubble, smart bubble kind of concept programmed into each weapon model. So you have the potential of putting something three-dimensional on your weapon and it intelligently reacts based on what weapon and the bubble that you have around that weapon, right? So yeah, that was just something I was thinking about. Mind you, this idea, I don't know if is it this one? Yeah, this one. This see-through idea. This was a universal camo concept I pitched a long time ago. I didn't specifically pitch the like bones, but I pitched the transparent weapon as a universal camo. And they made it into a blueprint. It's a cool blueprint. The idea of putting the bones in it and all, that's their idea. But it was my idea to do like the transparent thing. I talked about this in like a stream a long time ago. Again, very cool idea, would love it if it was a universal camo that I could apply to all my weaponry and it not be limited to just this gun and this blueprint. But yeah, it was my idea for a universal camo to make it a transparent camo. My idea was to make it a transparent camo, and then you could see the inner workings of the weapon, like the barrel and stuff, and the bullets shooting through and all. So they sort of made it a different thing. But yeah, the idea was a universal camo, but they made it into a blueprint. Whatever. I specifically begged them not to make it into a blueprint because I knew it'd be easy to make into a blueprint, but more complex to do it as a universal camo. So please make it a universal camo. But no, they fucking made it into a blueprint. I never gave me credit for it neither. I mean, I don't know. Maybe great minds think alike on that one because, you know, there are toys like that also. The idea came from a toy, like those plastic toys and all, but that's why I came up with it. I'm like, I wouldn't mind seeing that as a camo. But yeah, so a large portion of my criticism yesterday was like a lot of the store items and all, they're not kind of moving it forward. It's just kind of been what it is. And they're just kind of like innovating in a stagnant place, right? But this concept of creating a bubble around the weapon and then selling you like pets that wrap around your weapon and you can put it on any weapon and it's alive on your weapon, right? Or barbed wire, kind of universal barbed wire that you can throw on a weapon and it goes on any weapon. And because of that smart bubble concept that's already programmed around the weapon models to understand where the hands go and all, it understands not to place things here or there or how it should function, you know? That is taking microtransactions to a slightly step ahead that would be more enticing for people because, again, when you can apply these things to all the weaponry and anything that you want, you build and you do, you know, there's value to that. I mean, the bubble concept could be completely separate from the camo concept. So just imagine you have a camo that you really like and you apply it, like your mastery camo. And then you have your like pet snake that like always wraps around the like weapon and just kind of slithers around it. But because it's an intelligent bubble, 3D bubble around the weapon, you can put it on any weapon, right? Or there's more to it. I'm just giving two ideas, barbed wire, snake. But there's so much more you can do with that concept, right? So much more. So yeah, this is a free idea for anyone who wants to take it. And never give me credit. Give me credit, man. Sometimes, man, you motherfuckers steal all my ideas. I mean, I give my ideas for free. I don't mind. Don't expect you to pay me or anything, but you know, give me a shout out or something. Anyway, that's it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed. Check out my old streams if you haven't already. There's some weird things I think about, but you know, whatever. I think it's unique conceptually, you know, if you think like that. And I think it would, if actual people that have development skills, I think that would inspire them to understand and do stuff, you know, in different ways, potentially. Like the bubble concept is what I see, I envision it. It very likely could be a very different idea once you actually get into programming, how that thing works, you know, how it functions. But in my head, it's just like a smart bubble. It knows where your hands are. And because it's an invisible bubble, when you decide to apply three-dimensional stuff, you know, you can sort of like fit it into that bubble and it should scale based on the weapon models and stuff like that. Same can apply to like characters and stuff like that. Like anything, right? Even like uniforms and stuff like that. You create this bubble around the player and then you have things that can move around it that are universal. There's so much more to it, not just weaponry, like the concept, right? But yeah. Anyway, that's it. Take care. Bye. The Bruen was a decent LMG. I still like the Holger, but it's actually quite decent, the Bruen. It was decent.